You. Make sure I get my mic is working. You know, sometimes I'll have it on mute. But yeah, but anyway, what's good, everybody? It's Sean P. the Blunt God. Hey! And I'm back here again with another reaction stream. And today we will be let me take that out. We will be reacting to a video from YouTube creator Mr. Morj. I don't know if it's Morg or Morj. I always had problems knowing if it's Morj or Morg. But yeah, I would say somebody let me know in the comments, but I would need to hear it. I would need to hear it, not be told. I know how to spell it. It's easy. But yeah, so in today's video we'll be streaming is called Kaido Learned the True History. History before Roger. Hold on. Why is he calling? But anyway. So, before I get into all that, make sure you get that stream a like. Show your boy some love. And if you ain't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Because, you know, I try to do these streams often. You know, and I'm starting to try to release content like every day. Try to do every day when I can. You know what I'm saying? When I don't have any whether it's videos or streams, I'm releasing something. I'm trying to release something. And but anyway, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at BluntGuide. If you like, if you're a big One Piece fan, you should be. I don't know why yet. You should join my Discord or my Facebook group. One Piece manga discussions. The links are in the description, so make sure you go join those. Go join those groups. What are you doing? What is you doing? What is you doing? I don't know. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the video. Let me pull this video up. I don't know why it's not showing. Bam. Alright, so yeah. So supposedly this is gonna be a Kaido theory, and you know I'm a big Kaido fan. You know, Kaido is one of my favorite characters. So anytime we get a video with Kaido, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. But let's see what Mr. Morj is talking about.
Greatest backstories in One Piece history.
Let me rewind it. And before I start, the link of this video, the link of the original video, will be in the description. So make sure you go to his page, like the video, and give him a subscription. I think I did a video of him before, and I can't remember what it was. So, you know, make sure you go subscribe to him. Go like his video. Go like some of his videos. I don't know. You know, show some love to another YouTube content creator. Let's go.
This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the best website builder for building your business or online brand. Hey everyone, so a major upcoming section of the Wano arc that we are all looking forward to is Kaido's backstory, and all signs point to it being one of the greatest backstories in One Piece history, as well as very possibly the best villain backstory in the series, period. I would expect at least 3 chapters, not just because of the trend of increasing backstory length corresponding with these.
For real, before we get into that, because what he says is going to be the best villain backstory ever, and it might be. You know, I'm not taking that away, but I think one person that might rival, if Kaido's backstory is like one of the best, I think Blackbeard could potentially rival it. You know, we know he was with Whitebeard for a while, but you know, up to the point that he got the Whitebeard, like what happened before he. You know, we see him crying to Whitebeard to join his crew, and then eventually, like what made him the way he is? Because I think he's always been a pretty dark character. He always had his own ambition and intentions, even since a kid. You know, like we know Blackbeard. We know Blackbeard it has a weird body. You know, like there's something weird about Blackbeard, and me personally, that's probably one of the most intriguing things in the story is Blackbeard. You know, how his body is, where he come from. You know, why he is the way he is. You know, I personally think that Blackbeard has like multiple souls living in him, like maybe at least 3, possibly. So I don't know. I think Blackbeard's could potentially be the best backstory, but I do believe Kaido might fall in there as well. I think those two are probably the main candidates for best villain backstory in One Piece. But let's get to the video.
Significance of the villain, but because there is actually a ridiculous amount of ground to cover in his backstory. There are a lot of hints that have been dropped that indicate that Kaido has a very, very rich story to uncover, and actually some crazy secrets that are set to be revealed based on the order of events, such as the fact that Kaido seems to have learned about the true history before Roger and Odin, which I'll explain in a second. But before we get into it, make sure to subscribe. And if you have your own thoughts, your own theories, your own analysis on One Piece that you want to get out there, I strongly recommend Squarespace, the sponsor for this video. Squarespace makes it easy to build a fantastic website for yourself, even if you have no website design experience, since Squarespace will help guide you to naturally slot website elements into clean, polished, symmetrical designs. It makes it so that you can have your own library of Ohara to get out all your thoughts on One Piece or any other fictional series out there, and you can easily build it in a single day. Any videos or image galleries that you want to integrate can be done seamlessly as well. So YouTube, Vimeo, Animoto, all of these are easily 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. So that aside, I'm going to do this in sections. Here's all the pieces of Kaido's history that we know of or can expect.
The secrets of the world.
So Kaido knows certain things about the world that...
Hold on. I kind of gotta say, saying that the secrets of the world, they remind me of if anybody watches JoJo's Bizarre Adventures and you are familiar with the villain Dio, it remind me of Dio almost. Hold on, y'all, because I think my video is looking weird on the Why my thing look like that? I'm watching it on YouTube as well, and it's like, why do my camera? I don't know. If my video look weird, let me know, please. Cause kind of look weird on my screen.
Make no sense for him to know. He knows about Joy Boy, and he knows something important about Wano that none of us know yet. He is here in Wano for a specific reason. There is something in Wano that Kaido has inside knowledge of that makes him aware that it is crucial for him to be here right now. Now, Kaido very likely learned this information before Roger and Odin did. Before Roger and Odin got to Laugh Tale. Before they read Joy Boy's message. Before they learned the secrets of the world. Before all that, Kaido already knew something that they didn't. Why is that? Because Kaido made it clear that he is in Wano for a very specific reason. He is in Wano because it's Wano, so something is important here that he knows about. And based on the timeline of events, Kaido came to Wano while Odin was still adventuring with Roger. So before Odin learned the true history himself. Because think about it, Odin only learned the true history and only then realized that Wano is important. Only then did Odin realize he needs to open the borders of Wano country. But Kaido was already in Wano by the time Odin learned that, and Kaido has said that he is in Wano because he knows Wano is important for some reason. On top of this, Kaido knows about Joy Boy. Now, it's entirely possible Kaido only learned about Joy Boy more recently, but I think it's likely that he knew about Joy Boy even when he initially came to Wano. I say this because Odin, having learned about the true history, returns to Wano specifically realizing that Wano is important because it is related to Joy Boy. Now, Kaido established again that he is in Wano.
I mean, I could see that being the case, like him knowing that. Yeah, I could see that being the case, but I think I guess my theory on if, like where Kaido got his information from would be, him being in the Rocks Pirates. I think because we what we know from Rox D. Zebek is he had a goal to not be the pirate king. He wanted to be the king of the world. So to have that type of ambition, I believe that you had to you know, you had to learn some things, you know, like because he, you know, think about it. Think of Luffy, right? Luffy's goal is to become the pirate king, and in that journey to become the pirate king, Luffy and the Straw Hat Pirates, they learn a lot. You know, they learn a lot about the world, about history, about all these things. And you look at Kaido, you know, he was in the rock, he was part of the Rocks Pirates, and so yeah, he was part of the Rocks Pirates, which if they're traveling all this time learning all these different secrets, you know, possibly even before Goldie Roger became a, you know, kind of started his journey and everything. Like maybe they were already kind of on their journey, along their journey when Goldie Roger came along, and they was already deep in their journey. And you know, Kaido learned some of these things along with Rox D. Zebek, and um, that will also include Whitebeard, and Big Mama. You know, what I mean, Big Mom. So you know, if Kaido knows the history of the world before Roger, I would also venture to guess that so did Whitebeard and Big Mom.
Wano because he knows Wano is important, and we know he knows about Joy Boy, so I wouldn't be surprised if from the start he knew that full piece of information, that Wano is important for certain reasons, including Joy Boy's arrival. And he knew this all the way back then before even Roger and Odin learned it. Now, that raises some extremely, extremely interesting questions. I'm sure that Roger and Odin are the ones who learned the entire true history first. I would bet that Kaido does not know the entire true history, but I'm saying that it seems like Kaido knew aspects of the true history before Roger and Odin did. So how did Kaido learn what he learned? We know Kaido has not yet been to Laugh Tale, so he can't have learned it from Laugh Tale, which means there is an extremely interesting hidden piece to Kaido's backstory that we are set to get. How much does Kaido know, and how does Kaido know what he knows? If I had to throw out a guess here, my best guess would be that probably Kaido's captain, Rox, knew something along those lines that he shared with only Kaido, as Whitebeard seemed to know almost nothing about the true history, and Big Mom seems to have little to no knowledge as well. So a possibly interesting relationship between Kaido and Rox may be unearthed in Kaido's backstory as well, but that may be asking for too much. I wouldn't be surprised if we simply started Kaido's backstory with, let's say, Kaido initially getting the fish fruit from Big Mom.
I mean, what, like, I guess my prediction in this case, what I would kind of say is, because what we know of Kaido is Kaido was a cabin boy. I think he was a cabin boy, or he was kind of. I think he was in a kind of lower position in the pirates. Like he was, I think that's what he was. Correct me if I'm wrong. Kaido was a cabin boy along the Rocks Pirates, and if that's the case, like, I mean, I don't fully know the full the full details of what a cabin boy is. I think that's kind of like, he serves the captain. That's kind of what I would think. He serves the captain. He does errands for the captain whenever the captain needs. So if that's the case, he has kind of a special relationship with Roxy Zebek, and maybe he overheard certain things, or he seen certain stuff that Roxy Zebek might have had around, like certain informational things. And with that being said, he would probably have learned something through just being around Rocks like all the time in a different way than his other crewmates. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I'm, I think if in the case that Kaido or Whitebeard and Big Mom doesn't know anything and Kaido does know something, I would probably think that may be right. That may be why. It's because he was in his position in the crew allowed him certain access. Like let's say he cleans Rock's cabin, right? That's part of his his duty. That's part of his chores or whatever. And if he's cleaning the cabin, maybe Rocks has said some things while Kaido was around, or maybe Rocks had things laying around for Kaido to just kind of see. You know what I'm saying?
After Rox's defeat, and then seeing his journey start from there. But no matter what, this special knowledge about Wano and about Joy Boy, that will likely be established in some way in Kaido's backstory as a driving motivation for him, as it's the fundamental reason Kaido is here in Wano today and doing everything he is doing today. We still have not gotten the answer to this question that Yamato poses, of what all this is for, and Kaido seems to suggest that the answer is more complex than we may be realizing. So that answer is by far the most interesting aspect of the backstory that I am waiting on.
Battle history and rise as a pirate.
Now beyond that, I would expect Kaido's backstory to showcase his rise to the top as a very battle-heavy journey. Our very first introduction to Kaido placed great emphasis on his battle history, a history riddled with many challenges, many hardships, and even defeats, that Kaido seems to have come back from over and over again, till he finally climbed the ladder all the way to the top of the pirate world. And along the way, he was able to pull in...
Look, I kind of want to speak on that. I kind of want to speak on these defeats that people constantly bring up about Kaido, of like why he's may not be as strong as he is. Like, from what we know, Kaido lost like 7 times. I think it was about 7 times, right? That's really not a lot. Like, to me, that's more of a brag. That's a brag. Like, if I say I lost 7 times, that's kind of a brag, because how many times is Kaido like what's his win to loss ratio? You know, like let's look at Luffy, for example. Luffy is on pace to becoming the strongest, possibly by the end of the series, probably the strongest pirate, one of the strongest, possibly. You know. So, but you look at Luffy's lost. Probably, I would say Luffy has lost more times than 7 times at this point. You know, just fighting Crocodile, he lost, I think, twice. He fought him like 3 times and he lost twice. Kaido, he's already lost he lost twice. That's 4 times. That's 4 times off the bat that I could think of that Luffy has lost. You know what I'm saying? And Lucci, like Rob Lucci, like the first time when Rob Lucci revealed himself, and then Rob Lucci pretty much he kicked Luffy out of the building. That's 5. And then we look at how he lost to, I want to say he lost to Kizaru, because he lost to Kizaru, not really Kuma. Kuma kind of saved him. But he did take that loss. You know, he lost his whole crew. Like, that's 5 losses off the top of my head. You know what I'm saying? But that's still not going to prevent Luffy from being one of the strongest, you know. So 7 losses really isn't that bad, you know. But that's kind of off topic. Sorry. You know, sometimes I like to go on these little tangents, and it is what it is. Let's get back to the video.
Many powerful pirates under his flag, very possibly through forcing them to submit in battle. As such, Kaido's story and his rise sounds like it is filled with grand battles and hardship and struggle, till Kaido eventually became an emperor and truly earned the title of the strongest creature. This is further reinforced by what we know of the fruit that Kaido was given. Not a dragon fruit, but a fish fruit. What most accept to probably be a mythical koi fish fruit, as Kaido's story mirrors the story of the mythical koi fish that turned into a dragon, a Japanese myth wherein thousands of koi struggled to travel up a waterfall, with only the one that was able to surpass his competitors and reach the top being transformed into a mighty dragon. Hardship, struggle, overcoming all adversaries till finally becoming the strongest, that is the story that we should expect from Kaido. And it all makes sense considering Kaido started off as merely an apprentice on Rox's ship. Kaido actually began at the bottom rung of the ladder. That is very, very different than what we got of Big Mom's backstory, which actually had very little focus on her rise, as the point of Big Mom is that she is actually simply from birth a natural-born monster, a natural-born destroyer, an absolute freak of nature who from 5 years old could destroy the giants of Elbaf effortlessly. Within a few years, she had the same bounty that Luffy had at 19 after the time skip. Big Mom's story was simply that of a born monster. Kaido's story is set to be more interesting, as this is the story of a man who became a monster. As such, everything is set for his story to be an extremely battle-heavy one. Now, because Oda will probably not make this flashback too long, it is likely to play out more through montage, but here are examples of what we could see through montage. We know that all Yonko, on their path to becoming Yonko, engaged in struggles against Whitebeard. There is a possibility we get to see a glimpse of Kaido against the Whitebeard pirates or Whitebeard himself. Kaido and Big Mom have supposedly been at each other's necks for a while now. Perhaps we get to see a glimpse of them facing off in their younger years. And lastly, perhaps we could even get to see a bit of what happened between Kaido and Shanks at Marineford, though this one would not necessarily be part of Kaido's rise, so this one would only really make sense if some extremely important information was exchanged between the two here that Oda wanted to slip in during Kaido's backstory. But regardless, in general, a crucial part of Kaido's introduction is that he has challenged the Yonko. So some glimpses of encounters against Yonko on the way up to the top seems very important to telling the tale of Kaido. At the same time, we know that Kaido was captured by the Marines multiple times and always survived and got away. As such, if we were to see Kaido defeat any significant figure over the course of his backstory, even if only in a brief montage-style panel, at best, my guess would be maybe the possibility of seeing Kaido defeat one of the former admirals, likely someone before the modern-day admirals, as that would be by far the most effective way for Oda to showcase Kaido reaching the top of his
maybe somebody like Kong,
without actually having Kaido defeat any of the existing.
I could see it could be like maybe somebody like Kong, who was he's like I forget what that position Kong holds. It's like the rear fleet admiral. I don't know. Remind me in the comments if anybody know. But maybe it could be Kong, Sengoku. I don't know. You know, that's if he, you know, if that was indeed the case.
Yonko. That might just be wishful thinking to get to see a panel of Kaido versus an admiral, but my point is that no matter what, I think emphasis on battle is set to be a very important element of Kaido's backstory. So far, I would expect that knowledge of the world and knowledge of Wano specifically is set to be a key piece of Kaido's backstory, and then his actual journey to the top and glimpses of the battles he had to go through will likely feature in his backstory as well. I believe there is strong evidence to suggest that there are 4 major deaths that shaped Kaido's life. The desire for a grand death is how we were initially introduced to Kaido, so it has to be understood that this is essentially the singular, most fundamentally important aspect of his character that Oda wanted to establish for us from the start. Since then, we have gotten further hints at Kaido's philosophy surrounding death, and the pedestal he seems to put it on, as the completion of a man. As such, the causes for Kaido gaining this worldview simply have to be a key feature in his backstory. We already know about 2 of the 4 deaths that inspired Kaido in some way.
Whitebeard and Odin.
Where Kaido acknowledged that Odin's death would make the people remember him forever. And it's certainly true that everything that is happening right now in the Onigashima War, the reason so many are willing to rally behind the Kazuki symbol and fight for freedom, is because the legend of Odin still carries so much weight. That's why Momonosuke is even able to command so much respect to this day. Later on, Whitebeard's death, and seeing how Whitebeard died in such a grand, memorable manner, seems to have been the final trigger for Kaido deciding to start the Great World War that everyone has been preparing for. So we know about those 2 deaths influencing Kaido, but I think it is also very likely
say
that
Roger
we get to see
and
Kaido's reaction to
Rocks.
another crucial death, Roger's death remains the single most impactful death in the history of the One Piece world. The entire era that we have been following was created in the wake of Roger's death, and Roger died while we were still focusing on Odin, so we didn't get to see Kaido's reaction at the time. But knowing how much Odin's death and Whitebeard's death impacted Kaido, and knowing how Kaido acknowledges Roger as a great pirate, knowing Kaido's desire for a grand death, I think it is very likely that we will get to see Kaido's reaction to Roger's death in Kaido's backstory, as that has to be the first truly grand, legendary death that Kaido would have ever been around for. That would have been the first time Kaido would have realized what the power of a grand death can have, how it can cause one to ascend to a sort of legendary status. Oden's death a few years later would have simply reinforced this notion for Kaido, seeing once again a great man having a death that will influence people for years to come. Kaido at this point already knows that Oden's death will have a tremendous legacy, possibly because Kaido has already seen the effect that Roger's death had. And finally, I would love to see if Rox's death can play into this in some way as well, as Rox's death was the opposite of Roger's, Oden's, and Whitebeard's. Rox was a great man, probably the second greatest pirate in history, yet he may as well have never existed. Rox was erased from history, his story was covered up, the man has been forgotten by the world. Unlike Roger, Whitebeard, and Oden, who all live on in some sense thanks to the manner in which they died, Rox actually is dead by the definition of One Piece. Rox being Kaido's first captain, likely Kaido's only captain as Kaido went on to become a great pirate himself, I think seeing Kaido's reaction to his captain's death, or at least ruminating and thinking on it and how his captain's story was erased from history, and then seeing the contrast with Kaido's realizations surrounding Roger or Oden's death, and how the way you die essentially shapes your legacy forever, that likely sparked the philosophy that Kaido has today of the importance of death. As such,
So there's, I guess there's a theory. Like I've heard people talk, not a major theory, but a lot of people talk about Kaido's possibly dying, right? You know, before the end, possibly the end of the arc, end of the series. We don't know. You know, I personally don't think he's going to die. At least not at the end of the arc. You know, I kind of got reservations if he's going to be fully defeated. Like, not saying he's not going to be defeated. He's going to be defeated in a symbolic sense, where he's, I think he's going to be defeated. Whether he's defeated physically or he's defeated in a symbolic sense of, he's forced to abandon Wano. Like he's forced to retreat almost. And I know a lot of people say Kaido retreating. Yeah, I know. I get it. But if that's I just don't know if he's going to be put down for good, But that's kind of a wish of me. I want to see this final great war. I want to see Kaido a part of it. I want to see Kaido. I want to see Big Mom. I want to see Shanks, and I want to see Blackbeard, all in the same area. I want to like all the Yonko, and I want to see Luffy among them, kind of cementing his status as a Yonko. I don't want to say Yonko, but in a sense, a peer of the Yonko. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's like, look, I'm just as good as all you other guys. I'm just as good as you, Shanks. I'm good as you, Blackbeard. I'm good as you, Kaido, and I'm just as good as you, Big Mom. And I just want to see that moment. To me, that would be that'd be a really dope moment. And but I kind of went off on a tangent. But let's say Kaido does die. Let's say he does die. We know there's a big Kaido plays, like he just said, Kaido plays a very heavy interest in death, right? He wants a grand death. He wants a big death, kind of like Whitebeard, kind of like Oden, kind of like Goldie Roger. And a lot of people say his death, he's not going to get that. That's pretty much the theory, that Kaido will die, but he won't get that, So his death could possibly be more like Rocks, like Rocks D. Zabek's death. I don't know. I don't know. I can see that being the case because, that's how he is defeated. His defeat comes at possibly not being killed at all, like just being put down and sent to prison to where he can't ever escape. Some maybe like even below the what was it, level 5, level 6, where all the worst criminals are, maybe even lower than that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe throw him in a, you know, throw him in a box of sea prism, and then toss him in the ocean, and then he just lives under there until his natural death, and he's just forgotten. You know what I'm saying? So I could see that being the case of him just getting a death where he's just forgotten. You know, he doesn't get an honorable, grand death like these other guys. I could also see that possibly. I could probably see that more so happening to somebody like Blackbeard though, more than Kaido. I could see that happening more like Blackbeard, because to me I feel as though Blackbeard kind of. I mean, we don't really have much of Rocksteady Zebek yet, so you know I can't say they're alike, but I believe think of it like this. I think Luffy kind of carries Goldie Rogers well, or Joy Boys will, and Zebek might carry, or Blackbeard might carry Zebek's will, or whoever might have been Joy Boy's rival. You know, so I could see Blackbeard kind of mirroring Zebek more so than Kaido. You know, and if that's the case, I could see Blackbeard having a death where he's kind of like his existence is more so buried in history.
Such, even if we don't get to see Rox's death, I think it's very likely we see the effect Rox and Roger's deaths had on Kaido. Lastly, I don't expect some crazy love story or anything here. What I mean more here is finding out about Yamato's mom. Who did Kaido end up having a child with, where he actually ended up choosing to keep and take care of the child himself as a single dad? That's pretty strange, you know. Like, throughout One Piece history, a lot of dads, like Dragon or Yasop, they kind of suck. They mostly just disappear and then do their own thing. Why the hell is Kaido, of all people, actually taking care of his kid? Obviously, he's abusive, but I'm more so saying why.
Bro, that's funny. That's funny to me. Just imagine Kaido being dad of the year, man. Imagine Kaido as dad of the year. Like, you could talk all the crap that you want about Kaido, how bad of a person he is, but he is probably a better dad than Dragon or or not Yasui, but I don't want to say Goldie Roger because it's not fair, because he actually died, but he wasn't there in Ace's life. So I don't want to say Goldie Roger. That don't really count. But Kaido was there. Kaido was there compared to Kaido was in his child's life compared to Dragon. So at least on the fatherhood side of things, Kaido is a better father than Monkey D. Dragon. And Dragon is supposed to be a good guy, but Kaido is a bad guy. So I'll just let y'all sit on that.
Why does he even have Yamato around in the first place? Why didn't he just ditch Yamato with her mom like any other normal One Piece dad would? It's kind of weird. It raises questions like, okay, is Yamato's mom dead? What happened to her? Did Kaido kill her? Etc. And more importantly, it opens the door to us finding out more about Onis. As far as we would expect, Yamato's mom would also have been an Oni. I don't think anything suggests Yamato is a Oni-human hybrid just yet, though it's...
Plot twist, Kaido is asexual. He can birth children. He's like one of those animals that could birth children without the need of two different genders. That'd be wild, honestly. That'd be ridiculous. I hope that's not the case, but I mean, it could be the case. I would like there to be a mom in the picture, because I think that would definitely give it more depth. It would give the backstory of Yamato and Kaido a little more depth. Like Kaido did kind of have love, but then he lost that love, and then it just kind of maybe made him go a little deeper off the deep end, I guess. That'd be interesting to me, you know, because it'd give Kaido's a little more depth and more motivation of why he does what he do.
It's possible, But if Yamato's mom is an Oni, then there is further reason to believe that Kaido's backstory would actually finally give us some insight on the mysterious Oni race in general. Like, say, why the hell is there a giant Oni skull lying next to Wano? What is this?
Bro, what if that Oni? What if that? I know I keep stopping it. What if? What if? What if Yamato's mom or Kaido's quote unquote wife? What if that skull is the skull of Yamato's mom? You know what I'm saying? That'd be wild. Like, what is that skull though? That's one of the mysteries I'm always interested in seeing.
Oni skull if it's not actually called Onigashima? What else happened to the Onis? How do they play into the true history? All of these things we still have questions on. So all of that is to say that, to be clear, I am not expecting some 20 chapter arc about Kaido's backstory, but I do think there are definitely 4 pieces we would expect to get in some form or another, probably across maybe 3 chapters. I would hope for a minimum of 3 chapters, which would be, so firstly, some glimpses into Kaido's battle history and his rise to the top, as that was framed as the essence of Kaido's story and becoming who he is today, as well as the symbolism of his fruit and its transformation from a small fish into a powerful dragon. Then secondly, some reveal of what Kaido actually knows about the true history and how he learned it before Roger and Odin. Then some establishing character moments for Kaido gaining the philosophies on death that he has today. And finally, some minor explanation of when he had Yamato and why he kept her and where the other Onis might be. Maybe we don't get in-depth stuff for all of these points, but I'm just saying I would expect that they would all be addressed or touched on in some way in Kaido's backstory in some capacity or another, major or minor. And if you enjoyed this video, then definitely like, comment, and subscribe. And you can support me on Patreon for my...
All right, y'all got that. I'm imagining because hold on, let me go to my solo cam. I'm imagining because it's like one thing he talked about this, you know, because Kaido's devil fruit is a fish, right? So, like, what if so he talks about like Kaido's devil fruit being a fish, and possibly there's a story about this koi fish, and like these koi fish who all try to go up the waterfall, kind of like Wino, how you get into Wino, and then the koi fish that actually makes it up the waterfall becomes even stronger, you know, turns into a dragon or whatever. And that's pretty interesting. Like, just imagine Kaido getting his devil fruit and he starts off as like a Magikarp or something. Like on Pokemon, like a Magikarp, and then, you know, he eventually gets the Wino and he evolves into a Gyarados almost. Like, that'd be pretty funny if like if his devil fruit somehow worked like that, like, because it's the fish fruit, right? It's like a fish devil fruit. So just imagine when he got it, it was literally he turns into a fish, right? Now him having a devil fruit, he wouldn't be able to swim, so it's not like he'll be able to swim like a fish, but he's just like a big fish almost, and then eventually he evolves. Like, let's say it's useless as hell. Like he's first this fish that's just useless with barely any good attacks, and then but he constantly gets stronger, and then eventually he evolves into this dragon form that he has. You know, that's pretty interesting. But anyway, as far as the actual video, you know, talking about Kaido's backstory, I think I'm pretty much I'm hyped to get a Kaido backstory in general. Like I said, Kaido's one of my favorite One Piece characters, and so I do hope we get a deeper backstory to, like, maybe when he was with the Rocks Pirates. You know, maybe we get more information through Rocks D. Zebek through Kaido's eyes, right? So, and then maybe, if, you know, a lot of people believe Elbaf is going to be more Big Mom, is when Big Mom gets taken down, for sure. You know, Wino is Kaido getting taken down. Elbaf is Big Mom getting taken down. So maybe at the end of, maybe in Elbaf, if that's the case indeed, if we do go to Elbaf and we do get a Big Mom backstory. Like we already got some Big Mom backstory, but maybe we'll get her view on Rox Dieselbeck through her eyes. You know what I'm saying? Then maybe we'll get like a full flashback of Rox Dieselbeck whenever Luffy fights Blackbeard. You know, because me personally, I'm of the belief that Blackbeard has a connection with Rox Dieselbeck. I'm getting comments. What? Vark Tech. Cassandra Houston Vark Tech. I don't know. I think that. Like, is that are you a bot? I think it might be a bot. But yeah. So what was I saying? I think Blackbeard has a connection with Rox Dieselbeck. You know, I'm like my personal theory is that Blackbeard has multiple souls living within him, because if we go back to Jaya, I've said it a million times. We go back to Jaya, we see when Luffy and Teach first met, right, and then this was after Luffy and Zoro was in that bar, and they met Bellamy, and Bellamy was kind of, just he was kind of like bullying them almost. But Luffy and Zoro basically did nothing, and Nami was kind of like, oh, she was telling them to fight back, but they were just like, hey, this ain't even worth fighting. And then after that, we see Teach, and Teach was like, oh, hey, I the One Piece do exist, or Skypea, or he was basically encouraging them. We had like an encouraging Teach, right? So, and then they walked away, and Nami said something like, "Who's that guy?" And then we get Zoro, and Luffy basically says, "It's not him. It's a them, or it's they or something," implying that it's more than one people. Even though he was the only one sitting there, other than the people, the citizens going past or whatever, he was the only one sitting there. But they pointed that it wasn't just one guy; it was multiple people. And I believe, Rock D. Zabek his soul or spirit or I would say his soul is probably living within Teach. And I kind of forgot where I was going. But yeah, so yeah, I kind of forgot where I was going with that. But anyway, yeah, I think oh yeah, I was telling my theory about Blackbeard. Yeah, I believe that Zabek is living within Teach. So if that's the case, if Zabek is within Blackbeard, then that what I would think that means is we will eventually hear from Zabek himself, who's living within Blackbeard. He when his character comes out, he might actually talk, and kind of we might get a fully fleshed out backstory of Zabek at that point. So I could see we getting like little snippets of Zabek with Kaido's backstory, and maybe when Whitebeard or Big Mom, if we do get a Big Mom arc in Elbaf, we may get Zabek from Big Mom's perspective. So Wino will get Zabek through Kaido's perspective, and Elbaf, if that is an arc that's coming and Big Mom is in it, we'll get Rox Zabek from Big Mom's perspective. I don't, Whitebeard is dead, so I can't really say we'll get something from Whitebeard's perspective. At least not while he's alive. At least now we won't. I mean, we could still get it, but we won't get it with him being alive to talk about it. So that's kind of my theories. I am pretty, like I said, I'm excited for backstory with Kaido, and I definitely can't wait. Anyway, you guys let me know what you guys think about Kaido's backstory. Uh, the, how deep do you think? How much of the history do you believe Kaido is aware of? You know, it was a short. This was a shorter video, shorter reaction video I wanted to do. It seemed interesting to talk about, and like I said, go to Mr. Morj channel, hit that like button. The video will be in the description, as well as my Instagram and Twitter, my One Piece Discord, and my One Piece Facebook group. All those things will be in the link, the description box. Go like his video. If you like it, go check some of his other videos, and then think about subscribing. And if you're here watching, hit that like button. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I will be doing a giveaway at 50 subscribers. At 50 subscribers, I'll be doing a giveaway, giving away 2 of those One Piece flags. So help me reach that milestone, and I'm willing to give back to you guys. Anyway, I'm out of here. It's Sean P. the Bluff God. Hey! And I'm out of here. Peace.